Yeah, my name is Niklas Oeser. I'm 31 years old now and work for an advisory and research organization for organic food growers in northern Germany. After an apprenticeship as a landscape gardener, I made my way through education by studying horticulture and got into organic farming after my studies, like directly. And it was not a concrete choice. It was an opportunity because of the job that was offered on the market. I'm very glad I did so because by time I grew into this whole topic, and I'm very glad I'm working in organic now. Right now I'm working for OON. That's the short frame, Öko-Obstbau Norddeutschland. It's a farmers association for the organic food growers in the 4 northern states of Germany. And we work on one side in research on the key topics in organic fruit farming, like topics in plant protection, but also in biodiversity enhancement, in breeding, and all the important things, let's say, and that's important for the fruit growers and also for the consumers and so on. And the other part is we advise the organic growers on their really practical work in the field. So 50% of my job is research, applied research, mostly in breeding projects, and the other 50% I'm advisor for the fruit growers in our region. When Inde and Bern wanted to plant their new orchard, they noticed that there's for the variety choice, there are only varieties available for organic fruit growing which are very susceptible for a lot of fungi like scab, mildew, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And that we still need a lot of plant protection by pesticides in organic farming as well.
Okay.
And that's because all these varieties, for a very high percentage, have a very high incest degree. Because during a few centuries, the breeding only focused on yield, high yields, and so on, but not so much on the robustness of the varieties, because we had very efficient plant protection products.
Okay.
So we have a gap in the breeding that causes very highly susceptible varieties.
Mm-hmm.
And to change this fact, the colleagues were thinking about newly using the robust varieties which are available a lot, old varieties which were not widely used in breeding. So there are a lot of pedigrees which are not involved in the back then modern genetics in the available varieties. So to broaden the genetic variety again, to foster the robustness through less or non-used genetics. So that was one of the key issues that led to start this Apfelgut project at first. Back then, Inde was searching for people with the same thoughts or with the same ideas about bringing back the breeding work to the farms and in the hand of the farmers. And back then they found, or were like 9 people all over Germany, 9 farmers, 1 advisor for organic fruit growing, 1 pomologist, and 1 student. Those were the founders of Apfelgut. Mm-hmm. And it's a participative approach. That's very important because all the decisions that are made or that are being made are done commonly on eye level between all the partners. And maybe if I can just add on this, nowadays, from the start in 2011, let's say, it was a project for the first 3 years, and then in 2014, I think it was, Apfelgut turned into a official
19.
19? Okay. In 2019, Apfelgut was founded as an association, let's say.
It was an informal...
Yeah, in the first years it was like a project, a research project, let's say.
Okay.
And then after some years it turned into an own association. So nowadays we have 11 breeding sites all over Germany on practical farms, except for one, which is a trial farm from OON, where I work at my main job. But I'm also a member and a lead member or board member of Apfelgut. And so we have the different breeding sites in very different climatic conditions all over Germany. We have different soils, we have different climates, and it's all on practical farms led by the different farmers. So that's a very practical approach, which has a lot of advantages, but also some challenges, let's say. And
what are those advantages and challenges?
What are those? Well, one advantage is we have the different climatic conditions, so we can test our seedlings and our plants or crosses on different environmental conditions. The difficulties or the challenges is the logistics, for example, because we have to not every farmer does every work in the breeding sites over the year for all the screenings on flowering, on susceptibility and so on. So we have some breeders which travel around through the year on the different sites, and so that has some logistic challenges. But also you have to organize very well with documents, with the different work at what time, what is necessary to do. That can be challenging from time to time. And we have very different actors. So we have young farmers, older farmers, we have students, we have people who are very good in technical or digital stuff, and then others who are more in the field and so on. So a very diverse group, but we work as one collective. One of the former first issues or things we were working on, working on, I wasn't there at the beginning, was that already in 2009 there were big sayings about new genomic techniques, and that it's possible to not really breed, but more like build resistant varieties with in an easy way with these NGTs, and that's a no-go for a lot of.
Because what do you do with these NGTs? Can you explain just in few words?
Yeah, so that's techniques where you can work directly into the genome of a plant, of an organism. So you go to the where life is coming from, and you want to edit something in there. We don't really understand so far because it's new and there is no risk research on this, or very few at least. And there are big risks for patenting and so on. So there is a lot of questions which are not answered. Even there are big sayings or Versprechen, promises. There are big promises about these techniques, but a lot of questions aren't answered. It might be possible to work on monogenic resistances, but we see that already by the varieties we have. There are varieties with monogenic resistances, bred normally, not by NGTs, but we have a lot of breakthrough on these resistances by, for example, apple scab. And we try to work on polygenic resistances by using these old varieties. And a polygenic resistancy, you cannot easily understand how the resistancy works. It's a lot of different genes working or collaborating on these resistances. But we know there are plants bringing this. In our breeding approach, we try to give our seedlings a chance to adapt to environmental conditions. In field, we grow into the soil from the beginning, and we await that there's a robustness that can grow inside of the seedlings, inside of these plants, and that grows by time. Let's say these polygenic resistances. And there are other breeders working in the greenhouse, and they raise their seedlings very fast and so on. That's not wrong. It's just a very different approach from our approach, because we give the plant time to really interact with the environment around and to build up this robustness against different fungi. Mostly it's about fungi actually. To grow that by time. Yeah.
And we don't use pesticide in the breeding process or in the breeding gardens.
Yeah. So basically what we do is we mostly talk about what we want, what kind of varieties we want to cross, we want to combine. We do that in group by all our experiences, by traits we want to foster, and mainly we try to combine modern traits which are questioned by the consumers, like juice and the crunchiness and so on. Also, of course, the optics of the fruit, and combine these with the robustness of, for example, old varieties. So we mainly do crossings with one modern and one old variety or special variety, and in between also with some of our own progenies.
And since Apfelgut exists, did you manage to get results, to produce new varieties, or is it about to happen? What do you expect? What is the...
So we have first amateur variety. So amateur variety means everyone can grow it. It has no license or something. And so we have to separate between varieties which are fitting or suitable for indirect marketing or for direct marketing. In direct marketing, you have direct contact to the consumer, so you can explain a lot of more details on a variety or the fruits and so on. So this variety I was talking about is called Vanya, and it's a russeted fruit, and also maybe one apple and one pear variety which are suitable for that market as well is in, let's say, in development. Otherwise, since we are only active since 2011, let's say, where our first crosses were done, we are on the way to get there, but we have no officially licensed first variety so far.
And it is coming in the next year?
Yeah, correct. Apfelgut is one of the very, very few approaches all over Europe working on organic fruit farming. So there's on organic breeding. So we have breeding for organic market, and then we have organic breeding, and that's a difference because our approach is breeding organically from the beginning, from the very beginning. So that starts with the plant, with the mother plant, where we do the manual crossings, everything under certified organic conditions. And Apfelgut for fruit growing, Apfelgut is one of two actors in Europe, I think, working on this. There are no official guidelines on EU level so far.
That's in the Entwicklung.
It's in the development, and Apfelgut is working on that too, or is bringing input to this discussion. We have a German definition of organic breeding also, already, which is was done by different organic breeders in vegetables, agriculture and so on commonly. But on European level, we don't have that, and we give input to this discussion and to this definition from Germany side. So basically, from 2037, it is right.
Yeah.
It's necessary to only use organic material if you want to grow plants, seeds, whatever. So that's only about the origin of the material, but we are talking about the development of a variety. That not only the material you plant on your orchard is organically grown on an organic nursery, for example, but also the whole development of the variety is done or was done organic. That means this variety is used to an organic environment all through the development of this variety.
Okay.
So that's a difference. It's yeah, and Apfelgut is working on this as one of the first organizations in Europe for fruit growing. Apfelgut is a non-profit organization which is financed mostly by funds from different foundations, but also from member fees. We have active and we have passive members. So the active members, that's around about 12 to 15 people right now, including the farmers, which manage the different breeding sites, but also the breeders. So basically the people who are taking out the work, the active work in the breeding process. And then we have the passive members, which are foundations, private people that fund us or that fund us actually. Mostly German foundations and funders, some big marketing or organic market foundations, for example.
One last question about the economic model. Once a variety is produced, how does it work when it comes to intellectual property? Do you distribute it freely? Is there a license to use it? What's the difference with a patent? It's an important question in your area.
We are not sure about that yet. We already know that if we publish a variety, it will be possible for everyone to grow it. But whether we will have a license to refinance our breeding work, we don't know yet. But we will not bring something on like a club concept or something closed where people get excluded, because we are funded by public funds, at least partly, and it's also our participative approach to work for everyone who wants this. That's important to us. Yeah, so like the golden way would be if the whole food chain would be able to give a small part to organic breeding as a whole, not only to Apfelgut, but as a whole, by, for example, having a small part of the selling cost or something that they give into the organic breeding. So it gets financed by the whole sector, for which we are working as one of our goals. Let's say that's clear.
Yeah. That's I guess that, and you give me the perfect transition for the. I have two questions left. It's basically, what are your demands to policymaker? Both when it comes to the viability and prosperity and continuation of your activity, and also more generally when it comes to policies related to what you are doing.
One of our goals would be at first that the politics works on making sure that we keep the possibility to decide freely if we want something with that was made or developed with help of new genomic technologies or not. So to make sure we keep this possibility, this freedom to decide if we want that or not, because that's one of the risks right now, that we lose this by this deregulation of NGTs. That would be important for us.
Because then NGTs can be found everywhere, because they spread? Or
Yes, correct, because they spread and we might lose the overview or the possibility to see whether this comes from these technologies or not. And we are not saying we don't want new genomic techniques to exist, like let's say that we just want to be able to say yes or no to the outcome of this. And that's what is risked right now, let's say. And then we have this 25% Green Deal goal to have 25% of all organic, of all food and vegetables grown organic until 2030. Having 25% of all the surface in agriculture having grown in organic conditions until 2030. And if that's the goal, the politics on the European level have to make sure that also the research gets equal funds on this level, like 30% or 25% of the funds going into organic approaches and research. And also to work on not only on the growing side, but also on the distribution and the marketing side. So we cannot use 25% of everything grown organic if we don't go to the consumer and raise the
distribution chains,
yeah,
the supply chain, the whole.
You have to, yeah, we have to work on the whole supply chain, not only on the growing side or the farmer's side.
And the supply chain goes from research, which is what you're doing, like scientific research and research on the new varieties, then production, then transformation, distribution.
The resellers and so on, up to the consumer in the end. And the research is one of the key issues, because there all the challenges we have, which keep us from growing organic from now to today, we have to solve them by research. And so we have to get the money in that framework as well.
Okay. Last question. What's your view on innovation? How would you define it? And how do you apply it in what you're doing?
We don't necessarily search for that one variety we can grow all over Europe in the perfect quality. We had that in the past, that doesn't work. So for us it's also innovative and good to develop more regional varieties, which, for example, one variety which is more suitable for northern Germany, one is more suitable for southern Germany, not working only on the very, very big scale, fitting for everyone, but also getting back and looking more on a lower scale, let's say. Innovative is also the participatory approach of Apfelgut, because we are not one organization which only makes every choice only by themselves, but we introduce most possible actors from all over the supply chain to get feedback on the different levels from consumers about or by common tastings, and from researchers and advisors for agronomic things and so on. So really having the big variety of actors discussing and deciding on eye level about all this different different wheels in the system. Innovation doesn't mean something very new, something digitally innovations or something. For me, innovation is thinking out of the box and thinking about how to develop things on sometimes on a very personal or very small level. I've been working in European projects for several years now, coming around through different regions and sites all over Europe. And innovation something that I take as a standard nowadays might be a whole new innovation somewhere in, I don't know, in France, in Italy or whatever, and other way around. So innovation is just getting an idea out of the standard system I'm working in. And that's what we try to do. And that's where I think it's very valuable and worthy to have the experiences and the knowledge of many different actors.